Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Goblin RIDES Podcast. Today I'm joined by the wifey. How you doing?
I'm good.
Doing all right. We missed our podcast last week.
Yes.
We're busy.
Yeah.
I was at Thorpe Park on, what day was it? It was
Thursday.
Thursday last week. That was fun. Oh, I went on Hyperia for the very first time. That was amazing.
You loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, I only got to go on it once, unfortunately, but it was closed for half the day.
Yeah.
So by the time we by the time it opened and we got to have a go on it, they only had one cart running as well.
One cart?
One cart, yeah. Yeah, whereas I can't remember if they have a maximum of 2 or 3 for that ride, but...
It was slow progress then.
Yeah, pretty much, and we were queuing for about an hour and a half to get on it, and at that point, I mean, it was about 5, I think it was about 4 o'clock when we actually got on the ride, and so we didn't have much time. We didn't have enough time to go around it again if we wanted to, unfortunately, but...
No.
But yeah, that was fun, and we did have somebody recognise us. Whilst I was on one of the rides, which was funny. Thank you for saying hello, by the way, if you're watching this. But what a great day out that is. Yeah, I had loads of fun. But yeah, we've got quite a lot going on this weekend as well. I'm away this weekend. I'm at my cousin's stag do, so that'll be interesting. Be messy, I'm sure. We're doing go-karting. I'm hoping that they'll let me wear my own helmet and I can have my own GoPro on it so I can record the racing.
That'd be good.
So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully I can get some footage of that. But busy.
You have been, haven't you?
But anyway, we are a little bit strapped for time today, so we are going to jump straight into our topic for today's video. And unfortunately it's quite a sad one, but I think it does highlight the psychology of the things that some of us like to do for fun, and the psychology of people watching what we're doing.
The perception.
Okay? Yeah, the perception of what we're doing. So this is on the BBC, but this is a driver who has been jailed for murdering a biker who was doing wheelies. Now, I mean, this is on the BBC, and apparently this driver chased this biker and deliberately rammed him with his car after seeing him pull a wheelie, and he did it twice apparently.
Yeah, I think it says later in the article that he was rammed twice, or I read it somewhere he was rammed twice, and unfortunately the rider went into a bollard and died at the scene. I mean, I'm not going to read through it because definitely go read it. It is really sad.
In here, but basically, so this person who tragically passed away, so someone saw them doing some wheelies, having a bit of fun on their bike.
That was the person who was jailed.
Oh, was that the person who's jailed?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, okay, fair enough. Sorry, excuse me. This person that we had here, they were
I think
jailed.
if you scroll down, it might be the person who lost. Yeah, he lost his life.
This the person who died. Okay.
I just wanted to clear that up because I wanted to...
Yeah, thank you for that, sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, don't want to get the wrong end of the stick.
Yeah.
So this person was caught doing something that they probably shouldn't have been doing. And once again, it's a case of a member of the public seeing what was going on and decided to take the law into their own hands. And, I mean... To this extreme, I mean, I've not seen this before.
No, I've never seen this before.
I've not seen this before. Where you get people like shouting at you for doing things that you shouldn't normally be doing or whatever, but to go to this extent, that's a bit shocking, to be honest. But this is something that we've seen before on one of our reaction videos. Actually, I think we did one. I think this was last year or something like that when we had this clip. But basically, so there was a rider who was going up and down quite a nice long stretch of road. I think this was in the US somewhere. And they were practicing some wheelies. Their girlfriend was like down the road just watching. And one of the people who lived on that road, they decided to come out and they stood in front of the biker as they were riding down the road.
Yeah.
Right? The bike, and this guy, he was fat and he was horrible, and he was like, I don't know, just a very stereotypical male Karen, whatever the name is for a male Karen these
Ken,
days.
I think.
Is it Ken, is it? But yeah, so, and like the biker hit him because he was like moving deliberately in his way to stop him. So the biker ran into him And somehow this guy was absolutely fine. This guy that was in the street, this maniac, he was okay. He got up and started arguing with the biker. The bike fell over, unfortunately. And as the rider was trying to pick his bike back up again, the guy that stopped him took the keys out of his bike and effectively stole his bike. Because I mean that is theft. But these guys were arguing about it and all that, even though this guy was, it was a really quiet road and they were doing wheelies and whatever. It's like, what I just don't understand why people act like that when it doesn't concern them. They're not the police, and like what right do they have to stop me from doing something, even if it might be against the law or what have you? They have no right to stop me. No right whatsoever, unless I'm hurting someone, putting someone in harm's way, assaulting somebody. Someone who is observing something, who is a witness to something, does not have any right to stop what I'm doing, especially if, like I said, if it doesn't impact anybody else. But yeah, so this unfortunately is not something that it happens regularly. This kind of stuff
just manifests in different ways. Yeah,
this article on the BBC is in other places as well, but they do mention that it's an e-motorbike. An e-motorbike. Now, I don't know what that is exactly, because that sounds to me like a bicycle, an electric bicycle, but I don't know. But it's not a traditional motorcycle. It's not it's not anything really. It's not a proper bike. Basically, it could be an electric motorcycle, like a Zero or something like that, or just like an EV. But that's what I mean. Like, usually e-motorbike, you usually refer to that as an EV, not an e-motorbike. You know what I mean?
It could just be a miscommunication from the BBC.
Yeah, maybe misreporting or something.
Yeah, that's it. It could. Yeah, that's the thing. When you look at the image, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
There is footage. I don't want to watch the footage, but there is footage.
Oh, is there footage? Is there?
If you scroll up, look, that's a video.
Shall we watch it? Let's
It does look like a bicycle.
Let's get you guys to watch this. Let's see what you think. Okay. Yeah, it's a bicycle.
It's a bicycle, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an e-bicycle.
Yeah. Oh, but gosh. I mean, it still doesn't matter. Like, it's not.
But that's it, you guys. That's all that this kid did.
Yeah.
And then he gets run over for it. Unreal, man.
It wasn't hurting anyone. It was dark.
Unreal.
It was quiet. There was no one else around.
You see kids pulling wheelies on bicycles all the time.
I'm more jealous than annoyed because I can't do that. No, I think it's really impressive.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I struggled doing that as well.
But you see kids literally going down the street, just like pulling these wheelies for
all the time
for an extended period of time. I'm like, oh my god, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the thing. It's like you said at the beginning. There is this perception that other road users feel they have the right to take into their own hands what they think's an injustice, and that's not okay.
Even though it's not an injustice to them.
No. If you don't like it, report it and be done with it, and be like, you've done what you should be doing and legally what you can do. So just leave it at that point.
Most people, they wouldn't care. They'd see this and they wouldn't care. Like the problem is that you get certain people who will see this and for some reason get offended by it.
Yeah.
And then feel like they have to do something about it. And remember that we see this a lot as well in just general road rage.
Yeah.
Where something happens, there's an altercation of some kind, and two people get angry, and it gets to a point where someone gets into their own car and tries to run over the other person. That's how horrible these situations get.
But the thing is, I was on the motorway last weekend, and someone was doing something that was really annoying, and it was inconvenient to me. They were in the outside lane. They were going at like 60, if that. And I was like, this is really inconvenient. You're in the outside lane. Like, you don't need to be here. But I didn't think, you know what, I'm going to ram into the back of their car. Yeah. I thought, I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to do something I probably shouldn't do, and I'm going to undertake them because they are causing they're being dangerous. Everyone else was having to do it. But I didn't think, you know what, I'm gonna take them into I'm going to take justice into my own hands. So I thought, as soon as I go past these guys, I'm going to forget about them. Like, it doesn't affect my life anymore. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
But if this guy had just gone, oh, that's really annoying, like he shouldn't be doing that, I'm going to overtake, he'll be done with it. And this would never have happened.
Let's remember here that, well, I mean, I don't know if we read this bit, but the reason why this person did this was to teach this guy a lesson.
Yeah, because he was showboating.
To teach him a lesson. That was the reason. That was the justification for killing this kid.
But it's not his place.
It's not his place. It's not his place. But this is, this is one story of many of things similar to this happening over the years. And look, I'm all for wheelies and practicing stunt riding and things like that, because it's an integral part of the hobby, you know.
And you enjoy it.
Like, when people are watching stunt riders, they don't automatically think, oh, they're stupid. Right?
No.
But because you're doing it on the road, all of a sudden people start thinking that it's stupid for them to do that, right? It isn't. Now, it is not legal. Let's get that very clear. It's not legal, and I wouldn't recommend that anyone does this. But at the same time, I appreciate it and I respect it, and I'm one of those participants. I'm a person who's trying to learn this kind of stuff.
And we see a lot of people doing it as well.
And that's great. You know, I love it. I love the fact that there are people who are pushing the boundaries of what motorcycles can do, and it is very impressive. And like you say, it makes me jealous that there are people that have that much skill on a bike and have that much control over a bike.
They do it flawlessly.
When people struggle when they start riding, with just balance and clutch control, and then you get people who are on the opposite end of the spectrum where they can do all these kinds of crazy stunts with the bikes. It's really impressive, but there's a right time and a right place to do it.
Yeah.
For me, I'm always trying to find places where I know it's quiet. I know that there's going to be no one else on the road, either in front of me or going in the opposite direction to me. I try to do it in places where there's no pedestrians, there's no one watching. I try to do it in places where basically there are no witnesses. So even if someone, so the idea is that no one can see what I'm doing. I'm quite doing it tactically, so I don't get involved in anything like this. Because my attitude towards it is, if you get involved in some kind of road rage incident or something like that, walk away. That's the easiest thing to do, the best thing to do, the safest thing to do. Don't get into an argument with these people, just walk away. Say what you need to or what have you, and then go. Don't even engage, because there's just no point. Or swear into your helmet and talk to your wife or your parents or something when you get home, your friends or something, and just leave it. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth your time, it's not worth your energy, and remember that in a few weeks' time you're probably going to have someone else doing another similar stupid thing that you complained about to someone else just a few weeks prior. It is what it is. People are going to be like this, people are going to be nasty, people are going to be stupid, people are going to make mistakes, and at the opposite end of the spectrum, where you are doing something where you're in full control of the vehicle, you're not causing any danger to yourself or anyone else, and someone does this.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? So yeah, you guys, if you're going to practice stuff like this, make sure it's in an environment that, if there are people around, that there are people that appreciate this and they're there to watch you do this kind of stuff, or help you do this kind of stuff, and make sure it's in places where normies, everyday road users, are not watching you. Because honestly, that's one of the things that I worry about the most, because everywhere, right, around the UK is built up.
Yeah,
everywhere's built up. So even if you're doing something, you're going down the road, you're doing something like this, and there's no one else around you, but there are houses nearby, and you know that people are hearing what you're doing. So you can't stay in that one place the whole time in practice. You have to keep moving, because otherwise you'll get people calling the police and things, that you're racing or something. No, we're not. It really frustrates me how you can do this kind of stuff safely. And the thing is, for me, with wheelies in particular, and stoppies to some extent, so endos, it shows you the limits of the bike. How many times have you seen it where there's a rider that's at a light and they accidentally let go of the clutch a bit too quick, and the bike wheelies, right? Or they loop the bike, okay? If you know how to pull a wheelie, then you know what the tolerances are of your clutch. You know when the bike's going to wheelie, you know when it's not going to wheelie, you know how much throttle you need for the wheel to come up. So that's an element of skill that is good to know. So then you don't loop the bike. Same with an endo. If you're braking hard and you feel that back wheel coming up in front of, from behind you, and you loop the bike in front of you, you know what your limits are again.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't want riders to be afraid of using their brakes. I don't want riders to be afraid of using their clutches and using their throttles. This kind of stuff makes people afraid of that. Makes people afraid of stoppies, makes people afraid of wheelies. Because even if they want to do it, or they don't want to do it, or they do it by accident, it's better to know how you do it, and it's better to know what the feeling is like than to be in that situation and you have no idea what's going on, you have no idea how to react. If you're used to pulling wheelies or stoppies, you'll know how to control the bike back down again. If you don't have that experience, you're not going to know, and you're going to panic.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, man. It's just, for me, it's so obvious why those types of skills, even though they are elements of stunt riding, are still important for everyday road use, everyday riding. It just helps you understand the controls of the bike, helps you understand the limits of the bike. I don't know. That's just me. I mean, I've made that argument before, but some people don't like it, and it's fair enough. If you don't like doing stunt riding, you don't like observing stunt riding, then that's great. Don't participate, but don't ruin it for the people who do appreciate and do respect that element of the hobby, because there are lots of people, believe it or not, within the motorcycle community specifically, that are very, very into stunt riding. And are you going to have a go at someone for doing a donut in a car?
Someone will.
But if you're a car enthusiast, the thing is, car enthusiasts, they appreciate that element of the community. They appreciate and they respect what these stunt drivers can do.
Yeah.
It's only in the motorcycle community where, I'm sorry, but if you're a motorcycle rider, you are an enthusiast, because it takes a lot of effort and it costs a lot of money to get your license, to get your bike and everything like that.
Dedication.
So as far as I'm concerned, you are an enthusiast and you are committed to the hobby. But it's only in the motorcycle community where you get people that are on different opinions, massive opinions on whether you should be doing wheelies, whether you shouldn't be doing wheelies, whether you should be stunting, shouldn't be stunting, things like that. And it's just I don't understand. You don't have to like it, but you have to accept that this is the riding that people want to do.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm not going to judge anyone for that. I'm not going to judge anyone for doing stunt riding if they want to practice stunt riding. And I know this article here that we're using as the inspiration behind this podcast is on a bicycle or an e-bicycle, but it still applies to motorcycles as well. Probably the one downside to this kid doing it on an e-bike is that he can't get away from the driver. Yeah. That's like a Seat Ibiza or something like that. Yeah. That this guy is chasing him down in. If he was on a motorcycle, they would have no chance of catching up with him. No chance whatsoever. So that is one benefit, I suppose, of if you're going to do this stuff on a motorcycle, that if someone tries chasing you, you're probably going to get away from them.
And another thing, the kid on the bike wasn't actually wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
I know that, but
yeah.
If he'd been hit off, his odds of not hitting his head, do you know what I mean?
Even so, if he was hit by that car with a helmet, he still would have died.
No, I know, but I'm just trying to, it's wrong. I'm not defending anyone. It's wrong. The whole thing is wrong, regardless if it was a bike, motorbike, bicycle, scooter. It's wrong. This person shouldn't have taken matters into their own hand. They should have gone, oh, by the way, I went past this kid doing this as a security camera, you can watch it.
I kind of understand why you've mentioned it, but why is that in the article? Why is that an important point of the article? Because it isn't, is it? This kid was murdered, and this article is mentioning about how he wasn't wearing a helmet.
They speculate that the driver of the car knew that the kid wasn't wearing a helmet.
Okay.
That's all. I just mentioned it just because there is also that difference as well.
But you see that judgment as well being made where a crash happens or an accident happens, and the first thing that people say is, "Oh, why aren't you wearing a helmet?"
Yeah,
that's not important right now. Okay, yes, that's a choice. That's what I wanted to do in that moment, in that situation. Fine, it's probably a dumb idea. I probably should have been wearing a helmet, but excuse me, I've just been involved in a crash. Context.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that's this is what happens. So if you are one of those people who likes pulling wheelies and you like doing this kind of stuff, do it not around people. People won't appreciate it. The funny thing is as well is recently and this is quite a common thing now. I'm seeing more and more kids on bicycles, on e-bikes and things, doing this kind of stuff, wearing masks.
Yeah.
And to some people that you might think, oh, that looks intimidating, as a hoodlum. That's like someone who...
Up to no good.
Miscreant, yeah, someone who's up to no good. And I'm not so sure about that. I think it's so if someone does report them for what they're doing, that no one knows who they are.
There's no physical features to reckon. Yeah.
Because they're wearing all black.
Yeah.
They're wearing masks and they're pulling wheelies. They're doing stoppies. They're doing all these kinds of stunts.
Do you know what? I don't mind it because they usually do it I'm on the pavement. They'll usually do it on the road. Like, for the areas that I walk the dog are very quiet. So but it makes me jump because I'm like, oh my God, there's this massive 6-foot bicycle going past. It's like, you know what I mean? But I've never thought, oh, that's inconvenient or that's really,
Basically, when it comes to this stuff, keep your opinions to yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry about it. It's not your concern.
I'm sure there's things that everyone who watches this podcast are doing that other people don't like.
Honestly, there are things that people do on a very regular basis that for some reason are more acceptable, even though they're more dangerous.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
just don't...
That's ridiculous, isn't it? It's one rule for someone who smokes and who, does drugs, and it's another rule for someone who's pulling wheelies.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I think the phrase "don't throw stones in glass houses" applies here because you'll have an opinion about something that you don't like, but you'll do something that someone else won't like. So, it's that whole... It goes back to that whole argument that we've had many times around don't look at my odometer when I know that you are speeding as well at some points. Don't be absolute high and mighty when you definitely do this as well. You just won't admit it because you don't want to.
Yeah, absolute hypocrites.
Or you're the other person who goes way too slow and causes issues for other reasons. So everyone does stuff that other people don't like, even if they don't realise they're doing it.
Yeah.
So keep your opinions to yourself and try and keep everyone on the road safe. Don't do stuff like this.
Just remember that everyone does stupid things on the road.
Everyone
does.
Pedestrians, bicycles, everyone.
Just because you see someone doing a wheelie or you see someone doing some kind of stunt riding and you think that's dangerous, even though they're in full control of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Just remember all the stupid things that you've done. Where you probably weren't in control of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Just remember that. How many of you drive? How many of you do drugs and drive?
Yeah.
Great examples of stupid things that people shouldn't be doing. How many of you are on your phones when you drive? Again, no one seems to lambast those kinds of people, do they? Even though it happens on a very regular basis. And someone who's in full control of the vehicle doing something because they're trying to have some fun. Yeah. Put it into context, you guys. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else left to say on this matter, wifey?
I don't, because... No. The thing is... I know when you go out and you ride at night, and I do get worried because it's not you I don't trust, it's everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. But otherwise, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to keep this one nice and short and sweet today, everybody, because we have commitments today. But you guys let us know down in the comment section below what you think about this and, where you stand on all this stuff. Obviously, we've spoken about it at length today. So you guys hopefully should know where we stand on this. But, I think everyone will be in agreement that this was wrong. But do you think that they were justified in any kind of way to do this?
No.
just let us know.
Well, that's what I think.
There are going to be some people that will agree with this.
But give us the
maybe
reason
maybe not with
why.
the murder, but agreeing with
taking the matter into their own hands.
Taking the matter in their own hands, and and trying to stop someone from doing this kind of stuff. Well, I'm sure there are those kinds of people out there. Let us know. Give
us a reason, but don't just be like, because they were doing something they shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse.
Yeah.
Give me an actual reason.
You think that's something they shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
You think
an actual reason.
Yeah. Give us a legit reason, an objective reason, not an opinion.
And maybe we might make a podcast about it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But you guys, thank you ever so much for joining us on our podcast today. As always, please go ahead, leave that like, hit that subscribe button down there, and that notification bell so you don't miss any more from us. But thanks again. You take care. You ride safe. We'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.